Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Winnebago County Board meeting. Tonight is Thursday, December 12th, 2024. Tonight's invocation and pledge of allegiance is by Mr. Tim Neighbors, which is not here at this moment. Mr. McCarthy, would you like to lead the invocation?
We did it last week.
Holidays and Christmas and New Year's, and all of us here on the county board, Thursday evening, as we pray towards our Heavenly Father, that forgives us of all of our sins, and that He guides us, and He talks us through things, whether it be illnesses with our families, illnesses with ourselves, and yet taking care of our neighborhoods within our communities. That's what we're here for, dear God. We serve you. We serve first responders, and please watch over them, Heavenly Father. And of course, when it comes to our consciousness, that's first and foremost behind you, dear Lord, as you guide us. Let us enjoy the holidays with our family, with our friends and acquaintances, and for the homeless that do not have a home, that they do have a home, in Jesus' name, through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Mr. Thompson, are there any agenda announcements this evening?
Yes, one change to the agenda. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Number 8A, under appointments, Winnebago County Administrative Hearing Officer. We'll pull that from the agenda for further review. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. All right, Clerk Gummow, can you please call the roll?
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, we will start with Mr. Hoffman. Mr. Lindmark. Mr. McCarthy. Mr. McDonald. Mr. Neighbors. Mr. Penny. Mr. Salgado. Mr. Scroll. Mr. Sweeney. Mr. Tassoni. Mr. Michael Thompson. Mr. Ray Thompson. Ms. Valdez. Mr. Webster. Mr. Arena. Mr. Booker. Mr. Butita. Ms. Fellers. Mrs. Gorel. Ms. Hansert. Thank you all, Chairman. 16 board members present, 4 board members absent.
Very good. We have a quorum this evening. Next, under awards, presentations, public hearings, and public participation, we have one presentation this evening by Mary McNamara from the Rockford Area Arts Council. Please come forward.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Mary McNamara, Bernston. I'm with the Rockford Area Arts Council, and I'm excited to be here. I've worked with County Chairman for a while now to get in front of you, and I really appreciate your time. This should be about a 5 to 7 minute PowerPoint. God love you for setting me up here. Something happened. That's okay. I've had lots of funny things today. And then I just click to move forward? Yes. The arrows? Okay. Tonight, I just want to give you an idea of who the Rockford Area Arts Council is and how we serve the Rockford region. Recently, we created a Rockford Region Cultural Plan, and that plan is really just a fancy way of saying a strategic plan for arts and culture. I'm sure you've noticed, and now we're seeing in the collar communities as well, a lot of public art going up, and we want to make sure that we have a strategy for that so that there aren't maybe things that don't align with a certain neighborhood, or that when something goes up, it blocks traffic. There are all sorts of pieces that go into public art installation, not to mention festivals, programs, initiatives, other pieces of arts and culture that go along with that. So this is just to tell you that we have a plan, and it is a regional plan. The 4 priorities were sort of distilled from 10 priorities, and they were taken from focus groups and workshops and interviews and public input sessions, surveys. And those 10 priorities, then we distilled to the 4. So youth and arts education, advocacy and policy, inclusive and intersectional collaboration, and neighborhood and space development. So we did a little bit of an homage to the industrial heritage of our region with the gears there. I just want to go into each one, just have one sentence about each one. So advocacy and policy, investing in our region's cultural identity through funding, policy, and advocacy. Youth and arts education, increase creative opportunities for youth and arts education. So that doesn't have to be just youth. We look quite a bit at underserved populations, senior population, and our population in general. Inclusivity and intersectional collaboration. So this really just means foster more inclusive cultural representation through greater collaboration and connection throughout Rockford. So it's just really having agencies speak to each other about what they're doing and how they're embedding arts and culture in their agencies, and maybe there's a way that they could work together and strengthen their purpose. 4th priority is to activate neighborhoods and underutilized spaces with arts and culture. And this could be adaptive reuse projects, it could be neighborhood signage, it could be any of those things that kind of go along with neighborhood and space development would be included. I think it's really important throughout this plan. We surveyed our municipalities and our public agencies and others about the regional plans that they were doing at the same time. And there are several plans, as you can see, that are happening at the same time, and I will make sure that you get this presentation. The plan, this Rockford Region Cultural Plan, is on our website, and it's really super interesting, and it definitely touches each one of your lives and each one of your districts. But I think that the 2 or 3 that are most important to note are the City of Rockford's comprehensive plan, the public schools master facilities plan, and then the Rockford Area Convention and Visitors Bureau Destination Master Plan. So those are big plans. Infrastructure is included in there. Quality of life pieces are included in there. Education, certainly, and then the park districts as well. The Park District Survey for their 2020 action plan, which they're now coming up with their 2025 action plan, both times arts and culture are in the top 2 priorities of residents of the Rockford region, not just the city of Rockford, the region. I wanted to share with you a little bit about our youth programs. They're called SPARK, Significant Public Art Apprenticeships in Rockford. These are amazing, free programs that we put on at the Arts Council. This one in particular is Spark at Washington Park. We work with the Park District. We have year-round arts enrichment, and you're looking at some amazing statistics. This program over 3 years saw a 44% increase in reading scores from the children that participated in our program. People who are involved in the arts can see that with their own youth and their own students, their own children, but it was really fun to see as an agency the impact we were making. We also saw a 15% decrease in the summer slide, so when kids went back to school, they did not have that huge gap to face that a lot of kids do, that learning loss gap. That was very exciting. The other programs that we have are not year-round arts enrichment, but just summer. And, oh, it's not going up there. There we go. And, okay, I guess we're gonna do that one. The youth, a couple other pieces of data that are really exciting and well-known, and there are so many more where these came from. So youth involved in the arts are 5 times less likely to drop out of school with our rates, not just at RPS schools, for kids leaving school and not coming back. This is a big deal. Kids who are participating in the arts are 2 times more likely to attend college or some other secondary school. 78% more likely to vote. So those kids who have participated in the arts are putting you and others like you in your seats today. So those are some staggering statistics there that I like to share. Another function of the Arts Council is to sub-grant out to our regional arts and culture agencies. So this year we awarded $60,000 through our Regional Arts Partners grants, and those are up to $2,500. And then we awarded $6,000, which are like little micro grants, $500 little shot in the arm to a project, or they could be to help an artist complete an installation. They could be kind of small and seemingly not as impactful, but you wouldn't believe what creative people can do with $500. We are also the arts and culture sector hub. We're the resource hub. And what was really great, I would say, if you can say anything was great about COVID, we became that sort of central hub, that clearinghouse for information during COVID for arts and culture organizations. We were the first to close. All of those ticketed venues, all of the entertainment venues, performances, concerts, dance classes, music lessons, all of that stuff was the first to shut down and the last to reopen. And so we were the organizational hub for those agencies. And there are about 80 agencies in the Winnebago County area. And those are a lot of people with a lot of jobs and a lot of youth and adults that they serve. So we have, programs like the Business of Art, as well as, frequently asked questions about a mural if somebody wants one on the side of their business. We have an artist directory, we have summer camp listings. It's a lot of resources available at your fingertips. We do host Art Scene. We do that twice a year, and that's a regional event as well. It's not just hosted in the city of Rockford, but we go all over Winnebago County and into Boone County. It's a gallery walk. We have over 500 artists that participate, so many different types of approaches to art, an estimated 10,000 people every time, and it is a regional event. We also host the Rockford Area Arts Awards, and those are coming up in March. This is just an opportunity for us annually to recognize and elevate those who have had these major creative achievements during the year. And so you're looking at bottom right, we've got Jeff Hendry, who had 41 years at Rockford University's theater department. We have top left, Dice White, came out of Roosevelt High School, the alternative high school, and is selling now in LA, in Miami, and in New York. So the kid is brilliant, and he has an amazing story behind him, but then everybody here is extremely accomplished. And it's a great evening where we get to celebrate and elevate the work that they're doing. Another program that we have that does include a regional draw is the City of Rockford, we call it, but it is the Poet Laureate and the Youth Poet Program. And right now you see Trinity in the forefront, and she's an 8th grader at Maria Montessori, and she's more mature than all of us put together. And then we've got Jenna Goldsmith, who's behind her, and she's a former Rockford University English professor. But they could come if you have a special event at the Winnebago County board meeting or anywhere else in your districts. They can come, you can ask them. That is one of the components of the honor and the role that they hold. They can come and give you an honorary poem for your event, for something commemorating, could be public servants, anything like that, they're available to you, and you can read about that program online as well. And the last piece that I'll talk about in terms of our role in the community is Art for Impact, and that's just our public art program. The objectives are up there, bolstering neighborhood pride and creating a sense of belonging. I mean, there's really nothing like having a piece of art in your neighborhood, something to look forward to, something that signifies home, something you take pride in. These are, the next 3 slides are pretty quick, and they're just a current breakdown of our revenue. So our agency is money in, money out. We have a nice little savings that I work very hard to keep and put away for a rainy day, but we really have $472,000 you're seeing in grant income. So we run on grants. We have events income listed up there, donations income at $224,000, our next biggest slice. And then we are just closing out a grant agreement with RPS 205 that will not come back, and that right now serves as 8% of our budget. So that gives you an idea of where our money comes from and how hard we work to get it. And I'm gonna break down now donations breakdown. So we have our regional municipal partners, which you can see up here on the far right. We've got City of Rockford and the Rockford Area Convention and Visitors Bureau. They make up that 62% of our donations. The city has always supported the Arts Council since its installment. And I think there was just a partnership there, and there was a mayor that was very encouraging of that partnership between the city and the arts, and just knowing how important it is for the vibrancy of a region. And then you've got corporates corporate funding annual appeal, which is what we're in right now at the Arts Council, and you may have in your little brown envelope. It tells you a little bit about us, and then we have individual donations. And then what I did was really just give you the same pie shapes and just give you an idea that those pieces of that pie and how the county could take advantage of those, whether it's public art, art for impact at the top, regional granting, summer programs, action grants. Those pieces of the pie could also be much more relevant in these collar communities of the county should we receive funding from you at some point in time. If you'd ever like me to come and speak to you one-on-one or as a smaller group or in caucus, I would love to give you more information about, kind of dig deeper into these categories and just let you know the impact that we are making in the community. And if anybody has any questions, I'd love to answer them. Yes?
Mary, and the summer programs, which are really needed with the young children,
Yeah,
because after getting out of school, they're so antsy, they don't know what to do with their time.
yeah.
Where are your places that will be open for them and, if it would be in the ages?
Well, Angie, so we are, because we're an advocacy agency, we really try to facilitate the programs instead of host them. So the only right now after-school program that we have that we facilitate is at Washington Park Community Center. And we are trying to expand that, but we also, that's a Park District facility. We've done the grant work for that for 3+ years now, and we really want the Park District to invest in that because it's hard for us to be on that grant hamster wheel for a program that is really not necessarily being met in the middle with where we're at. But that's our only after-school arts program right now. But part of our job is to also go to 205 and go to Harlem High School and do some advocacy work there. I just was on a podcast with Dr. Yarbrough about how important the arts are, and he was really excited about a lot of that. And they're doing some great things at the Harlem schools, integrating art into other subjects, history and English and science. It's so easy to do, and the scores with kids are off the charts. I mean, you can't beat putting music into any type of our education integration. Kids just learn faster. Spark is held at Nicholas Conservatory for little kids, elementary. We have Spark Somnium, which is held at Sinisippi Park. So it's a kind of an installation. We use the shelters. We've got bathrooms there. It's a gorgeous outdoor setting, getting kids outside. And then we also have Spark Mosaic, which changes locations where we put the artwork in the end, but we actually host it at Woman's Space, which is off of Springbrook Road.
What is the age limit?
That's high school. I'm sorry, Spark Somnium at Sinisippi is junior high and high school, and so is the Mosaic program, which is really an incredible program. Yes, Jaime.
Mr. Salgado.
Thank you, Mary, for coming. I've met with you a couple times, and we've had discussion. I do appreciate you and your organization putting a cultural plan and understanding where the needs are, where the gaps are, but also, as you alluded to, during COVID and that phase of it, bringing all together all the different agencies and organizations out there.
Yeah.
I think that's very critical because we sometimes see silos out there competing for the same grant money. And so
Yeah.
I do appreciate that you kind of brought that in. I hope that you continue to do that, both in the city, but also on the outskirts when it comes to Rockton, Roscoe, and some certain other cities, municipalities across the board for the county. But I do want to appreciate that you took that leadership and your organization to do that, because it also shows the interest from a constituent, from a taxpayer's perspective. What are the interests in the community that we want to see, right? Because I could say, hey, I'd like my favorite band to come out and play or whatever it is. Not everybody's, into that, right? And so I do appreciate you putting all that together, and I hope that you continue in that route, to be a conduit for all the different organizations and how we can come together and obviously make art, whatever it is, that we want to see in this community, and also replicate it to other, like the RPS 205, other school districts, where we can incorporate that as well. I like what you do with the Park District. It goes hand in hand, right? We're all tackling the same issues.
Right.
When it's, graduation rates, whatever it is, we're in this, the crime, so I think it's a conduit. So I hope that your organization continues to do that. But I just want to take the time to thank you for having that and having that vision, because desperately is needed to, because now I can say, okay, there's something there that I can grab onto and say, you know what? It makes sense for me to donate. It makes sense for me to get behind this organization to do that, right? And so I just want to thank you for that, and thank you for coming today. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Jaime. I
Thank you,
appreciate
Mr.
it.
Salgado. Any other questions? Mr. Arena?
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the presentation. I might have not understood correctly. So your operations now are not outside of Rockford and Loves Park? I mean, are you offering services in Rockton and Roscoe now? Or
Yes, all of our youth programs, other than Washington Park, actually you could sign up to go to Washington Park, but all of our youth programs, art scene, grants, they're all regional. They're all Winnebago and Boone. We are actually a 4-county service area, but we find that when you have 60 out of the 80 arts and culture organizations in the city of Rockford and 80 of them in Winnebago County, this is the urban hub, and this is where we're going to focus our time, is essentially Winnebago County out of those 4 counties. There isn't much happening arts and culture-wise in DeKalb County that isn't covered by their volunteer arts council. Boone County has a volunteer arts council, but we work closely with them, and they do receive grants from us. And then our other county is Ogle, and they really don't have a center for the arts, and they do take advantage of the things here. But all of our programs are now currently open to county residents.
So at the end of your presentation, you said if there was county funding available, you'd be able to expand into other parts of the county. Just expand what?
Well, because we receive funds from the city of Rockford currently and have consistently, we do spend a lot of our money that they give us, we turn into product or effort or program or initiative in the city of Rockford. Now, all of our programs are available to anybody in Winnebago County, but we focus our efforts in terms of outputs and permanent installations and those types of pieces in the city of Rockford because they're supporting us. That money is being reinvested in the city, and that's their expectation. So if the county supported us, we could do the same for the county and reinvest in the county the same way we're doing for the city. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I think we just need to identify like specifics so that like when I go to my constituents and they say, well, why are you giving this money? I have like a clear answer to them, something that's tangible, say, well, this is the benefit that you receive.
Right.
By that.
And that could be, Paul, that could be public art. You could say, you could decide as a county board, we want more public art in the collar communities. And then we could say, we could earmark those funds just for public art in the collar communities. We could do something where it's youth outreach and we want to reach those other school districts. We could earmark those funds and we restrict them to what you would like. But we can't spend our what it is now, woman power up there or in the collar communities as much as we want to because we just don't have the bandwidth.
I understand. Thank you for the answer.
And I do just one last thing about Jaime's comments. Public safety, I could do a whole presentation on kids, youth access to the arts and how it relates to our public safety. Kids with a healthy arts and culture sector and access to arts and culture, it's like a 7% increase or decrease in juvenile crime that they see immediately. And so, if you have those after-school programs available for kids, you're going to see much less involvement in the justice system. And I think just community to community, it's just unarguable, which is nice. I mean, we were asked for data for years in the arts community, and now we have it. So we're going to try to use that and give that back to you so that you can see those results.
Valerie, did you have your hand up earlier?
Talking with Paul there, I know that the 4-H people are very interested in programs like this too, because they go all summer. We have to remember that's the Illinois State Extension Program that you might want to speak to, Aaron, and see if they can arrange something with this group so that out there in the rest of our county, we could have that done through the 4-H people. It'd be a good outreach. The other thing is too, right now, on close to where I live, there is a new YMCA that our church has been converted into, and that's right across the street from the middle school.
Mm-hmm.
4-H has even been in that school, coming into there and teaching
Yeah.
It would be nice too to have that type of a summer program in that Y that children can go to and walk to. That would be an excellent place if that could ever be arranged through them.
That's a great idea. I serve on that board, so we just had that ribbon cutting over there. What an amazing facility. If you haven't seen it, that YMCA on Rockton is beautiful. And we actually just put in a public art installation. It's called You Are Here, and you scan the code and you listen to neighbors talk about their history, their heritage in the neighborhood. Maybe their parents owned a business. Maybe they bought that house when they were 24 and now they're 86. It's a really neat installation, and it was done in conjunction with the West Middle School kids. So absolutely, I love that idea.
Any other questions for Mary? Mr. Sweeney?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you again for the presentation and being here. And maybe you already covered some of this, but just the part that makes the most impression upon me about what you talked about is like the kids and the schools and being in school and
Yeah.
being married to a teacher and being related to so many teachers and people in the RPS 205 system. Truancy is such a huge issue. And can you describe your relationship with the Rockford School Board or anything like that as it involves their district specifically?
We are actually putting together an education committee, but my relationship with the Fine Arts Department is really good. We just went in maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago and spoke to teachers on a professional development day. They had no idea getting through the firewall of RPS and actually any school district, which is a good thing in some ways, but getting through that can be really difficult. So getting on a professional, that was our approach this year. Let's get in there on a professional development day and say, these are the things available for your kids. They were blown away. So our relationship is good with admin, but getting it down to the teachers where they feel like they have resources at their hands to give to kids who demonstrate interest in the arts, and kids who maybe needs an alternative way to learn or way to be, and could really improve from behavior disorders to isolation.
Sure. I'd be interested in talking more about that some other
Okay,
time. Yeah.
great.
Thank you.
When my children were in school, they had a resource that they could call the 205. There was a person, I was a person for Harrison School. When the teachers had some special projects, they would call me and I would call the school board and find out who is available for these projects. That would be, and then one thing I was interested in at that time, it was the picture lady. Because the picture lady introduced children to art that they don't see today.
Yep.
It's a different kind of art that they see today, and they need to know a little bit about the history of art and where it came from. And so that was an excellent for the grade school, elementary school group. And that way, it just goes through the the Board of Education, and they're the ones that can have someone who is the resource person there.
I know a lot of people who would be good at that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
My kids loved it. They look forward to that.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, if they were studying about Indians, that someone that was part Indian would come and talk to them.
Right.
All right. Any other questions for Mary? Thank you, Mary.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Okay, may I entertain a motion to approve the November 14th, 2024 minutes and lay over the November 26th, 2024 minutes. We have a motion by Mr. Michael Thompson and a second by Mr. Booker. Is there any discussion on the approval or the layover of the minutes? Hearing none, are there any board members opposed to the approval or the layover of the minutes? Very good, please cast yes for all members present. Next is the consent agenda, which includes the raffle report and the auditor's report. May I have a motion, please? Mr. Salgado motions, Mr. Thompson, Michael Thompson in the back, and Mr. Booker also seconds that motion. Is there any discussion on the raffle report or the auditor's report? Hearing none, are there any board members opposed? Very good, please cast yes for all members present. Next are the appointments per county board rules. Board chairman appointment shall lay over until the second board meeting after they are first introduced. As we stated earlier, number 8A is being held out. 8B is the 12 Mile Grove Cemetery Association. There is no compensation. First is Ronald Mitchell. That is a reappointment to serve a 6-year term. And Mr. Kent Peterson, which is also a reappointment to serve a 6-year term. Next is the North Park Fire Protection Districts. The annual compensation is not to exceed $1,500 per year. And Mr. Ron Lundstrom is a reappointment to serve a 3-year term expiring in November of 2027. Mr. McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As most of you know, I'm part of North Park Fire. Mr. Lundstrom's done an excellent job as treasurer. He's currently serving an expired term, and I would move to suspend the rules tonight and approve him if the rest of the board is okay with that.
Very good. We have a motion to suspend, a second by Mr. McCarthy. Are any board members opposed to the suspension of rules this evening for Mr. Lundstrom? Hearing none, please cast yes for all members present. The rules are suspended. Mr. McDonald.
Mr. Chairman, I would make a motion to approve.
Moved by Mr. McDonald, second by Mr. McCarthy. Is there any discussion on this appointment for the North Park Fire Protection District? All right, hearing none, are there any board members opposed to Mr. Ron Lundstrom for a reappointment? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. Thank you. Next is the reports of standing committees. The first is the Finance Committee, and I call up Mr. Salgado.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Finance Committee has 4 items tonight. The first one is a resolution authorizing the county contribution for the state's attorney's appellate prosecutors program, and I so move for that.
Moved by Mr. Salgado. Is there a second for that? Mr. Hoffman seconds that motion. Is there any?
Just real quick, it's $47,000. It's a third. That's what we pay our portion, and then the state pays 2/3 of it.
Very good. Is there any other discussion, questions on this resolution? Hearing none, are there any board members opposed to this resolution? Very good. Please cast yes for all members present. Mr. Salgado.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our next one is ordinance for approval of budget amendment for Law Enforcement Mental Health and Wellness Act grant award. This is to be laid over, but I'd like to suspend the rules and vote on this today.
Move to suspend by Mr. Salgado, second by Mr. McDonald. Is there any board members opposed to the suspension of rules for this ordinance? Hearing none, please cast yes for all members present. Mr. Salgado.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to then motion to approve the ordinance.
Moved by Mr. Salgado, second by Mr. McDonald. Mr. Booker, any discussion on the ordinance?
Just real quick, it's a 2-year contract, about $200,000. The budget amendment for this one is about $99,000, almost $100,000. This is just for the officer wellness program. It's a full-time clinician for mental health and have an office there.
Very good. Any board member discussion for this ordinance? All right, hearing none, are there any board members opposed to this ordinance? Very good. Please cast the yes for all members present. Mr. Salgado.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next one is a resolution authorizing execution of the collective bargaining agreement with the American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees, AFL-CIO, Council 31, local, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. Salgado, second by Mr. Sweeney, Ms. Valerie Hansert, and several other hands that also went up. Is there any discussion, Mr. Salgado?
I don't know. I don't want to put Ms. Vaughn on the spot, but I don't know if she could just give us just a brief summary and just go from there.
Ms. Vaughn.
Thank you, Chairman. Just a summary, I can go through a couple of the highlights. It's a 4-year agreement starting this year until 2028. We made several changes throughout the contract, but I would say the pertinent ones are towards the end of what's attached to your agenda. Pursuant to like the wages category for each year, they'll get a certain percentage. It's 3% for the first year, 3% for the second year, 2.25% and 2.25% for the last 2 years of the contract. We also made some other equity adjustments for certain departments, which you'll see redlined to the packet. We also added a provision about years of service step increases, which is applicable now to all employees effective 2027. So you'll get employees will get an additional compensation added to their hourly wage once they reach certain anniversary dates, 5, 10, and 15 years. We'll make one change in insurance, I believe, in the last year of the contract, which you'll see, too bad I don't have page numbers on mine. In 2028, it's a slight adjustment in insurance contributions, which the union agreed to. But overall, it was a great negotiations with the union. We settled within 4 months, and we had positive feedback from the other side, and we think this is a fair, good contract. But if you have any questions, just let me know.
Thank you, Ms. Vaughn. Is there any board member discussion on this resolution before you tonight? Very good. Are there any board members opposed to this resolution? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. Mr. Salgado.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our last item is an ordinance amending the predictable fee schedule for the Winnebago County Recorder's Office. This is to be laid over, but I'd like to suspend because it looks like changes will be effective January 1st of 2025.
Move to suspend by Mr. Salgado. Is there a second by Mr. Sweeney? Are there any board members opposed to the suspension of rules for this ordinance? Hearing none, please cast a yes for all members present. Mr. Salgado.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Therefore, I move for the ordinance approval.
Moved by Mr. Salgado, second by Ms. Hansert. Is there any discussion, Mr. Salgado?
No, just basically we're lining up to what the state government fees are, and there is a reduction in some of the areas. So we're just abiding by the state statute.
Very good. Any board member discussion for this ordinance? Hearing none, are there any board members opposed to this ordinance? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. Mr. Salgado.
That concludes our report. Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Salgado. We got the zoning committee up next. Mr. Webster.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Zoning Committee has no report tonight other than remind zoning committee members, and all actually, we have a meeting Thursday, a week from tonight, and 2 out of the 3 items on our agenda will concern solar once again. So there'll be a lot of minutes, and I'm just giving you a heads up to committee members that the minutes of the meeting will be to us Monday, this coming Monday. So be prepared for that for the meeting on Thursday. That's your heads up.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Webster.
Thank you.
Economic Development Committee, Mr. Sweeney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have no report tonight, but I have been asked to give just another friendly reminder about the discretionary funds, the $1,000 for Mr. Ray Thompson and Mrs. Valdez may not know that each board member has $1,000 at your discretion to utilize for a nonprofit as you see fit. So that is available to you. Talk to Mr. Dornbush if you wish to learn more.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. Next, Operation Administrative Committee, Mr. McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have 2 resolutions for this evening. The first is a resolution awarding Hartman Electric Company and Montiel Technologies for countywide security cameras and integrator system contract using ARPA funds, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. McDonald. Do I have a second? Mr. McCarthy, Mr. Arena seconds that motion. Mr. McDonald, any discussion on this resolution?
Not for me, Mr. Chairman.
Any board member discussion on this resolution? Very good. Any board members opposed to the resolution? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. Mr. McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our final resolution is a resolution awarding Montiel Technologies for countywide security camera and integrator system maintenance and support contract, and I so move.
Moved by Mr. McDonald. Is there a second? Mr. Arena seconds that motion. Is there any discussion, Mr. McDonald?
Not for me, Mr. Chairman.
Any board member discussion on this resolution? Very good. Are there any board members opposed to this resolution? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. Mr. McDonald.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Operations Committee would like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Thank you.
Merry Christmas. Thank you. Thank you to the staff and all the hard work and all the committee members for that camera project. It was a long time coming, but we're glad, and I'm sure Hope is very glad it's over with. Merry Christmas, Hope. Very good. All right. Public Works Committee, Mr. Tassoni. Thank you, Mr. Tassoni. We got Public Safety and Judiciary Committee. Any report from the committee? Mr. Booker.
Thank you, Chairman. There is no Public Safety Committee report, and Monday's scheduled Public Safety meeting is, there is no meeting this next Monday night.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Booker. Legislative and Lobbying Committee, Mr. Salgado.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have no report.
Thank you, Mr. Salgado.
And we also wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Good, thank you. Okay, Next, where am I at? Unfinished business. We have one item under unfinished business. It's an appointment read in on October 24th, 2024. It's for the Rockford Area Venues and Entertainment Authority. Annual compensation is none. Tonight before you is Mr. Miles Nielsen. That is a new appointment to serve the remainder of a 5-year term expiring July of 2027. Mr. McCarthy, motions to approve? Is there a second to motion that approve? Mr. Sweeney, Ms. Valdez seconds that motion. Is there any discussion on this appointment this evening for a new rave board member? Hearing none, accept that. Hearing none, are there any board members opposed to this appointment? Very good. Please cast a yes for all members present. Next is new business. Any new business before the board this evening? Wants to bring forward? Mr. Webster.
Yeah, thank you. Just a couple of things. I noted here that from the Winnebago Boone Regional Office of Education, Scott brought us the annual report. I appreciate that. I wish he was still here because I wanted to congratulate him because he got named the 2023-2024 Superintendent of the Year by the Illinois Principals Association for the Kishwaukee region. So I'm asking the chairman to send him our congratulations.
Will do.
Next, I want to mention their thanks to LAFA and the team that negotiated for these pay increases. I was very happy to see that they got this accomplished without any threats of walkouts or anything like that. We have had some controversial ones in the past that took a long time to settle. This apparently went pretty smoothly, I would say it. So thank you, LAFA, and the rest of the people on the team for that. Finally, and thank you. And finally, I just want to say, see you all next year.
Yeah, thank you. No, I think this county board needs to give an applause to LaFacaria Vaughn. She did an amazing job with the staff. I actually read an email from the ASME representative negotiating team that praised her, and the first time that he's ever saw that they walked away pleasant. And so congratulations to you and your team. Let's give her applause. Now, if you can start the clock for a 3-minute speech for her? No? Oh, okay. Pass it up. Any other new business? All right, announcements, communications. Clerk Lori Gumau.
Thank you, Chairman. The items listed below were received as correspondence.
Good job. All right, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. It's been an honor to serve with each and every one of you. Blessings to you and your family. Everybody stay safe. Don't indulge too much, Mr. McCarthy, but everybody do your best. Grasshoppers on Mr. McCarthy. Motion to adjourn by,
Move to adjourn.
That's okay. We'll just
we got
go
a
that
motion
route.
to adjourn and Mr.
Palakaniki Maka is the Hawaiian way to say Merry Christmas to all of you.
Very nice. Bon Natale is in Italian. Very good.
That's enough.
All in favor of the adjournment, say aye.